Hey, this is Dr. Sean over at Natural BodyWorks, and today we're going to talk about something, the next step after the costochondritis and the rib thing, which is panic attacks. So there's typically 13 or so symptoms of a panic attack, and I'm going to explain those real quick, and then we're going to go through actually how to stop one in its tracks. You can totally do this, okay? It's a physiological thing. But it tricks your brain into thinking something's really, really bad, and it accelerates and it compounds and it starts snowballing, and pretty soon, kablooey. You know, you've been there. I've been there. I've had them before too. But through my practice with meditation, my practice with chiropractic and acupuncture and stuff like that, I've been able to control them, catch them before they actually happen, as soon as you start seeing some of the symptoms. So, what are those 13 symptoms? I'll list them, hopefully over here or something like that. First one we'll go through is tightness in the chest. Second one, shortness of breath. Third one, dizziness, racing heartbeat, right? Chest discomfort. That's it. Sweating possibly. Hot flashes, sweaty palms, trembling, choking feel, like you feel like you're tight in here, like it's choking. Maybe nausea, like you feel a little bit sick, you know, a little saliva you get in your mouth a little bit real quick. That can show up. Numbness, sometimes in the fingers. I'll tell you about that one in a minute. The feeling of this is not real, or that very surreal, like woozy, kind of dreamy feel. That can be one of the symptoms too. The feeling of losing control of, I don't know what, maybe just in general, kind of losing control. Not really of like bowel and bladder. You're not going to pee yourself or poop yourself, most likely. And you're not going to pass out, most likely. But we do these few techniques I'll show you in a couple minutes. That won't happen. And then the last one is, of course, a fear of dying. A lot of people have a fear like, you know, my God, I'm having a stroke, or I'm having a heart attack, or something like that. Now, right now, take a breath. Just stop. Hold at the top, and then let it go. Do that a couple more times. So, explaining and talking about panic attacks can actually give you a panic attack. Because your brain goes, yeah, I feel that. Wait, I feel that now. Is that what I got? Oh my God, I got it. And you just, just go off. I've been doing this for over 20 years. I really like this kind of stuff. I've seen people talk themselves into and out of panic attacks. It's very easy to do, so we're not going to do that, so don't think about it. So right now we're going to talk a little bit about parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system. Okay, this can go on for hours, and this is part of my anatomy and physiology class that I teach at college, and we get into it a little bit. But in a small little nutshell, sympathetic nervous system is fighting, flight, which is run away, freakouts, fear, faint, fall down, that kind of stuff, and hide. Those are our sympathetic reactions when something happens. So imagine a rhinoceros tiger or whatever, some kind of like, you know, big massive threat to our survival occurs. We're going to go through all these different things. Other things that we can see that happen. This is why shortness of breath is we have opening of the bronchioles and stuff like that to get more air in. We've got the pupils will dilate so we can see better. Our eyes will widen so we can, like, you know, see better. The blood will rush away from our extremities and into our center, which can give us that cold or sweaty palm feeling. Sweaty palms so we can grab things better and get away. So there's an entire list of these things that occur when sympathetics turn on. Now, if they stay on, that's bad, but usually they don't. Okay, they should turn off a little bit. As soon as the tiger is gone or whatever, you should be, whew, okay, fine, now I have to go to the bathroom, right? So you notice how, like, if you've ever been chased or anything like that, you have to pee right away. That's because your body's trying to get rid of that stuff so you can run faster. Anyway, other side of that coin is the parasympathetics. Parasympathetics, resting and digesting, feeding and breathing. Now, what's the difference between resting, digesting, feeding, and breathing? Resting is just being calm, cool, collected like we are right now. Get into a meditative state, nice and happy. Feeding is actually being hungry, like enjoying food. Breeding, that's having sex. So this is one of the things, like, that's why Viagra's around, and that's why fertility is such a problem, is because people are so sympathetic based. They're so freaked out all the time over, I have to have a kid, we can't have a kid, can't afford it, blah, 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 blah. All of these things that cause them to go to sympathetic turns off their parasympathetics. And then digestion. Okay, people that have parasympathetic issues or sympathetic overflow, too much of that stuff, which is like the panic attacks all the time, that's because what it does is it turns off digestion, so they get constipated. And then their body says, man, I got to change that back, and they get diarrhea. And then their gut gets all troubled, and then everything bothers them when they eat. So these are some of the things that we can have in that whole parasympathetic-sympathetic imbalance. Over a long period of time, you're going to blow out your adrenals. You're going to end up getting dizzy when you stand up. You're going to get salt cravings, sugar cravings, caffeine cravings, nicotine cravings, all that kind of stuff to keep things going because you've burned out your regular fuel. So how do we stop these things? Number one, shallow breaths. Not deep breaths. Shallow breaths. Really slow, shallow breaths. Like that. In, hold, and then out. Just a little bit. That's been proven actually to work better than taking big breaths or breathing into a bag or anything like that. We want to increase the CO2, and we do that with those slow breaths. You can try it. Second thing to do is actually, there's a couple of them. Notice how if you've ever had one, it gets tight right in the chest, and this kind of pulls together, and that gives you this tight chest feeling, and then your brain has to make up a story about that and go, you're having a heart attack, you're dying, something else is going to happen. Blah, 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 blah. And then it sends information down here. You better breathe faster because you need more oxygen. And pretty soon you have a full-on panic attack. There's some points right below. Here's the collarbones right here. Right below the collarbones, about right underneath, you'll feel tenderness on either side. Press on those. Just hold them and breathe. Now that's also the closest we can get to that sympathetic parasympathetic chain, the sympathetic chain actually, and we can shut down or at least calm down a little bit that vagus nerve. Vagus nerve is one of the, is considered the second brain. It's what gives information to the brain about all the guts and all how they're doing. So if one little thing happens, it tells your brain something's wrong. Your brain has to make up a story about it. And if you're prone to having panic attacks because you're like, oh my God, I have cancer. Oh my God, I have a heart attack. Oh my God, I have this. Oh my God, I have that. So then your brain will react to that like, wow, we better freak out about it. Okay, so this is one way. Breathing, holding these spots. Other ones too, right underneath the shoulder, right as you come up here like you're doing the Pledge of Allegiance, push your fingers up where they stop. That muscle will be tight on either side. That's called the Pectoralis minor. It tightens up, pulls you forward from doing this and whatever, click, 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 all this kind of stuff that we do. Those will have us tighten and cause trouble. So if you lie on your back, put a pillow under your back, let it open up that whole chest and that heart area. That can open up this entire thing and help you calm down. Okay. Other ones to do, right along, here's the breastbone right through the middle. We have these little indentations right aside the ribs. Those will be very tender. This is where the nerves end, and these can get really tight, so we want to loosen those up. So those are a couple little tricks for panic attacks. Other one too, to stimulate the parasympathetic, cold water on your face. Go wash your face with cold water, do your breathing techniques, hold these for a moment, do some self-soothing, which is just holding your chest, breathe. They always say 10 breaths, 2 breaths can do it. Now, as you practice that, you'll get better at it. You've gotten really good at having panic attacks because you expect them to come and then you make them happen and that thing. It's not your brain. This is physiology, man. This is your body trying to protect you, and the brain makes up a story about it, and then pretty soon everybody's on the same page. It all looks good. Flip out. So what we want to do is get you to calm down ahead of time. As you see it happening, you notice, hey, my chest is tight. Uh-oh. Now you go down the cascade, chest is tight. Shortness of breath, heart racing, all this kind of stuff, and pretty soon. So let's try these as soon as possible. As you practice, you'll start seeing it coming. Whoa, I'm feeling kind of anxious. What's the difference between anxious and excitement? Notice every one of those 13 things, which I'll list again, are all basically the same thing with something's really exciting happening. Go on a roller coaster ride, skydive, scuba dive, be chased. Those kind of, they're fun. I mean, fun things, in a big game or football game or something like that. It's exactly the same thing. It just depends really on the way you train yourself to react to it. Some people become adrenaline junkies. which is exactly the same thing. They're just ones who like panic attack feel, but for them they see it as excitement. So we can switch these things back and forth, and definitely you can train yourself for them. Other things to make sure that you're doing, get acupuncture, because acupuncture can help get the whole system more even, more stable, and more level. It also forces you to relax. It also forces us to maintain a good healthy energy level on the inside. Other things to do, meditation, like I said, acupuncture, chiropractic, spectacular for it, because as we get better movement through the joints, even the spine and the ribs and stuff like that, we tend to feel more relaxed, we tend to hold less tension in our bodies, and we can release it much faster. Lastly, I would say yoga, swimming, any kind of thing like that. So you know what works for you. Medications, I don't like, but sometimes you need them. So take them, but do these kind of practices. I have an entire set of practices that I'll show you, including meditation stuff, which I'll give you a link later on for those. And that's it. So if there's any questions about this, give me a call or email me, text me, whatever this is. Subscribe, leave a message below, share with your friends. Panic attacks are fixable. Panic attacks are not the end of it all. You are not a panic attack. You can get through this. I can show you how. I've done it. I've seen people do it. I've had people do it on my tables. I've had people completely lose it in front of me and be able to pull them out of it in 2 minutes. Now, luckily, I have some other things. I can put someone face down on a table, put a hot pack on them, talk them down. That's pretty easy. Who has a table sitting around? Not many people. But with those couple techniques that I just talked about and some other stuff that you can learn, you can get over panic attacks. Seriously. I mean, I really hope so. And I really think you can. I've seen it happen too many times. Now, it takes work. It takes practice. You've practiced being worried for a long time. You've become very good at it. So now let's practice the opposite and get good at that. It'll show you, as that fear thought comes up, you'll be able to catch it in time and put it down. And then you'll be able to see that those aren't even real. Man, you're like, it's stuff that you make up in your head. So anyway, this is Dr. Sean over at Natural BodyWorks. Subscribe and all that kind of stuff. Hope you're doing really well. You take care of yourself, and come on in, get in here. Let me know. This is what we do. We deal with stress all the time. It's very simple. Take your vitamins, drink your water, do your exercises. Take care. Bye.